Welcome back to the Hero's Journey podcast. We're on episode number 28. I'm Nick, your ever faithful host. All right, so we've got 10 more comic books that we're looking at this week. Let's have a look. Okay, so here we are. First up, All Flash, DC summer of 1944. Flash is up against a crooked private investigator who blackmails people for valuable goods by bringing up misdeeds of their past. In the next story, Flash, Winky, Blinky, and Naughty are put under the spell of Shrimpo the Great, a master magician and expert thief. And finally, Flash and the rest of the city are too busy worrying, brought on by Ebenezer Jones, to notice the thieves looting all that they can. For this issue, you have a recent CGC 5.5 sale from June 2020 for $350. Interesting cover, kind of tells you about the three stories in the that are coming up in the issue. Kind of interesting, not a bad cover, not the worst. But here, I wanted to show you. Okay, so this is some of the bottom of the pages from the Flash issue. I thought it was kind of interesting. In this issue, they decided that they would put tips at the bottom of each page, each story page, telling you how you can help with the war effort. So, so the top one says, bottom lines on following pages will tell what to do while battle rages, right? Exactly, it's telling you what's to come. And then I just gave a few examples, but it really does go through all of the stories. And then they repeat about 3-4 times. But it says, tin cans in the garbage pile are just saying, are just a way of saying Heil, which essentially is a fun rhyming way, but saying, recycle. Back then during the war effort, they were recycling a lot of the materials so they can use them in the equipment and weapons. And waste fat in good condition helped to make fine ammunition. I had no idea that waste fat would help make ammunition. I don't know how to make ammunition, I guess. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, next up, you gotta bear with me here. Okay, so here's a couple coincidences I thought really neat. So for all you nerds out there like me, or geeks, in All Flash 15, it seems like there's a couple references to Star Wars, right? So, 30 some years before the universe was even, Star Wars universe even came to be. In one of the stories, the witch was from Endor, right? So you Google Endor, what comes up? I couldn't find any other meaning for that word other than, the planet where the Ewoks live. And then in the Hop Harrigan story, the text story that's in the issue, I didn't actually read the story, but funny, just skimming through it, I noticed that it takes place in a Tunisian desert. Now, for all you that are unaware, Star Wars New Hope, largely filmed in Tunisia. So I don't know. I can't imagine that is actually the inspiration, but I thought it was really neat that those things showed up in that issue. All right, back to more serious stuff. We have All Select Comics number 3. It's a timely from spring 1944. It's an Alex Schomburg cover, so that means you've got a lot of action. You've got, and you're guaranteed that Human Torch is going to be burning through something. Guns firing, good guys, bad guys. Namor's in there, and Namor's head, I don't know if I mentioned this before, that guy's head changes all the time. It's always a different type of triangle, but it's huge and crazy. So this was in this volume, in this series, this was the first 52-page issue, and that's down from 60. And as I mentioned, around this time of the publishing is when they started to reduce pages down to 52. In the first story, Captain America and Bucky discovered that a man posing as a tramp is a prince holding a woman hostage and on the run from the police for murder. Human Torch and Toro face Wilbur the Great, who makes oil and gas tank railcars disappear. Wizard tries to keep up with a couple of thieves that are using some speed inventions to stay one step ahead. And finally, Submariner tangles with Nazis on land and at sea when he is tasked with escorting a convoy of cargo ships. So for this one, you have a recent CGC 6.0 sale from August 2020 for $3,908. I assume has to do with, it's a fairly high price for this type of issue. I assume it has to do with the Alex Schomburg cover, as well as you have some major characters featured. Next up, All-Star Comics number 20 is from DC, spring 1944. This is also the first 52-page issue. It's also down from 60 pages previously. So in this one, you have the Justice Society of America, which currently consists of Hawkman, the Atom, Dr. Fate, Spectre, Sandman, Starman, Dr. Midnight, Johnny Thunder, and of course you have Wonder Woman, who's the secretary. Still irks me, but whatever. And so the Justice Society of America, they tangle with the monster who's committing all sorts of crimes. Seems to be a modern retelling of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So you have a recent CGC 6.0 sale from July of 2020 for $650. So just contrast that sale of $650 with the other one that was in a similar grade for almost $4,000 for All Select Comics. It really, I mean, it seems to me you got a lot of star hitting power in this issue, so it's probably the Alex Schomburg cover that's carrying the other issue to the high price. After that, we have All Winners Comics number 12, Timely Spring 1944, also Alex Schomburg cover, so that means you've got Human Torch on there. Doesn't look, maybe burning through the floor to the ground, I guess. You have Namor on the bottom there, choking a couple of Japanese soldiers, people shooting at each other. It's a good time. Another one, first 52-page issue down from 60. First story is the Human Torch and Toro head to Arabia to prevent an international incident when the Wisp attempts to deliver a falsified letter inside Mecca. Captain America and Bucky find out that the Red Skull is trying to Nazify America, starting with a resort full of tourists. Submariner is awoken in his undersea home by a Japanese invasion in Australia. So you have a recent CGC 7.5 sale from June 2019 for $3,328. And if we follow that up with Captain America Comics number 36, this is from Timely, March 1944. It's a Hitler cover. This is Sid Shores, so it's not Alex Schomburg. Similar style, of course, as we've seen, but you got the shooting, lots of action, lots of detail, lots of things going on. I don't actually know why all these guys are falling off the motorcycles. If you look closely, look carefully, you see a good 4 people falling off motorcycles. Not sure what's causing that exactly, but they're just flying off. First story is Captain America and Bucky investigate the mystery of the tainted blood plasma causing soldiers to die from transfusions supplied by Dr. Necrosis, who has white gangrene. Human Torch and Toro head to Hollywood when a former stuntman is out for revenge against his former movie production company. And after that, Captain America and Bucky stumble into the den of the Leopard Woman as she attempts to poison New York City's water supply. Captain America and Bucky are then in France to retrieve information about Nazi invasion plans. Okay, so you see the underline? That means this is the big book of the week. You have a recent CGC 7.0 sale from August 2020 for $12,305. Those are serious numbers. It's a lot bigger than any of the other books on the list this week. I'm going to guess it's mostly attributed to the characters in the book, but mainly because it's a Hitler cover. It's a Sid Shores, so not an Alex Schomburg, but maybe Sid Shores is also attractive. After that, we have Captain Marvel Adventures, number 33. That's from Fawcett, March 1944. A few stories in this one. 4 Captain Marvel stories in this one. So Captain Marvel shuts down a crook trying to lure young boys to start a crime school. And then Captain Marvel visits the site of a sculpture being made in his honor on the side of a mountain and finds some people willing to kill to stop it from being completed. Captain Marvel is arrested for deserting the army of Bologna so a baron can kill the Boy King without interference. And rounding out the stories is the one from the serial. This is chapter 12 of 25. Captain Marvel attempts to stop a mile-long shell fired at Russia from the planet Punkus, with Mr. Mind tickling him along the way. You have a recent CGC 6.0 sale from December of 2020 for $150, which Seems like just a steal to me for a Golden Age book. Following that, we have Captain Marvel Jr. number 17. Kind of a cool cover. It's Fawcett, March 1944. Really like it. It's an interesting cover, like him taking flight. Good composition. Captain Marvel Jr. jumps 100 years into the future, seeking to retrieve an inheritance for a friend. Captain Marvel Jr. investigates explosions of gasoline being caused by a ring device emitting radium carbo rays. And then Captain Marvel Jr. attends the rodeo and performs some good deeds while being invisible. Finally, Captain Marvel Jr. stops Nazis from stealing a new invention, remote-controlled model airplanes. Now, I didn't note it in the slide here, but this issue has the first appearance of Sylvester Jones, which is a friend of Captain Marvel. He was actually in two of the stories, the first one and the last one. And I believe he'll probably appear another dozen times or so in this series. You have a recent CGC 5.5 sale from May of 2020, $483. Again, seems a little low for a Golden Age book, but now in this issue, I thought it was kind of interesting. This is Captain Marvel Jr. number 17. The spelling of clues, twice on the page is spelled clues, C-L-E-W, with an S on it for one of them, it's plural, instead of C-L-U-E. I couldn't find an instance where that would make sense. And then also on that page, the coloring on the second panel from the top on the left, Captain Marvel Jr.'s top is white. Guess I just forgot to add some color. But so that just, to be fair, that just goes to show the type of editing that they had at the time. And it just really wasn't as much of a priority, I guess. Next up, Comic Cavalcade number 6 is from DC Spring 1944. It's a big drive to recycle the waste paper for the war production. Now, this is the first 84-page issue, down from 92 pages previously. In the first story, Wonder Woman is captured by the Countess Mazuma to work the diamond mine where she has golden-eyed girls as slaves. Next up, Green Lantern and Doiby Dickles get stuck in hypothetical adventures to prove they always come out on top. Sargon the Sorcerer stops the auctioneer from cashing in on some favors that were foolishly made 10 years prior. Flash loses all inhibition when some crooks let loose impulse liberator gas on a town, hoping to rob the townspeople. For this one, you have a recent CGC 7.5 sale from October 2020 for $715. Yeah, I don't know. You can't really see the spine on there in the image, but it was 92 pages, now down to 84. But this is a seriously thick book. If you can get it in a 7.5, I would say that's very impressive. I imagine this would be a very difficult book to press into a higher grade. Next up is Detective Comics number 85, DC, March 1944. Look at that, Joker cover, and more than one. Looks like you have a double Joker cover. That's crazy. So Batman and Robin race against the Joker to solve the mystery of the double pulling off crimes in the Joker's name. And in this issue, the Joker ends up saving the lives of Batman and Robin. And the Crimson Avenger tracks down the Lone Wolf after discovering an old phone number. So there was a recent CGC 7.0 sale from November of 2020 for $3,480. And to be fair, when I saw this book on the list, I figured this would be the big book of the week, but it couldn't compare to that Captain America Comics one, unfortunately. I figured, Joker cover from the Golden Age would command a premium, especially when you have two of them on there. I don't know if having an imposter Joker on there takes away from it, but certainly I would have thought this would have been the big book of the week. And finally, we have Flash Comics number 51. This is from DC, March 1944. Interesting cover. It's okay. A little bit of action. Looks nice. If you didn't like, if the birds from Alfred Hitchcock's movie freaked you out, the cover might not be for you then. First up, we have Flash. He fights in a wheelchair against a Viking that is hundreds of years old and wields Thor's hammer. Johnny Thunder and Peachy Pet are driven crazy and taken to an insane asylum where a doctor tries to hypnotize Johnny into giving up military secrets. Hawkman and Hawkgirl put an end to the man training birds to steal for him. So you have a recent CGC 9.2 sale from September 2019 for $1,558. Figure 9.2 from the golden age would go for a lot more than that, but I don't know. And to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, the Hawkman stories don't really do it for me. They're not interesting. I don't know why. Maybe it's part of the way they're written. Flash stories, they're okay. Johnny Thunder, it's kind of the same old things, silliness, and it's just kind of him bumbling around and like, all right, it's entertaining, but it's same old stuff over and over. All right, those are the books for the week. And if you followed this far in the podcast, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your family, tell everyone. And that's it for this episode. We'll see you next time. Thanks.